So hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I had a near-death experience where I was rushed to the emergency room in an ambulance, almost died, and had an emergency surgery to save my life. Last year I also went to Scotland. I'm immensely grateful and humbled. For me, my transformation happened in the most unexpected moments where I got comfortable with the things that I was doing. And ironically, it's also during the times that I was achieving and reaching for the most in life that the most devastating, life-changing, and catastrophic changes happened. And I think that that's just part of my life journey and my life path, the reason why I came here, what I chose to experience. And there's probably a multitude in this dimension of different realities that I could experience in this lifetime, but the one that I am currently going on resembles that of immense change and growth in hard times. When I say hard times, I mean when I'm reaching for more, when I'm striving to be the best version of myself, if it's not perfectly aligned, and I'm going to put a caveat to that, but if it's not perfectly aligned, if it's not rooted in the right place, life will change it for me in a really intense way. In a very vast and vague term, I've learned that my journey currently is trying to find the middle between the duality. And by the duality, I mean the complete opposites of the spectrum, so the extremes of life. And that causes immense friction and tension because the balance of life needs to come back after those extremes are reached. And unfortunately, it's kind of like the yo-yo effect in so many different things like diet and a bunch of other things. When you go to one opposite extreme, you will end up going to the other opposite extreme to find the balance. And my journey in a nutshell is trying to not have to travel to the extremes to find the middle, because although the extremes are incredibly transformational, I find that the middle is the hardest path to walk on, because you have to be in charge of your immense change and not let that be a causality of your extremes. Before I begin, there was a concept that I thought of yesterday that I'd like to share. A few years ago, maybe even just 2 years ago, I remember sitting in my room with no friends, no people that I spoke to outside of my relationship, and my parents, and maybe a few classmates, thinking how lonely it was and becoming very okay with the loneliness and with myself on the inside. That's been a long shadow journey because there's a plethora, like a huge, it's a vast thing. You can be okay alone, but still not be okay sitting alone with yourself, if that makes sense. Like, you can keep yourself busy creatively and be alone really well, like manage being alone really well and not feel lonely because you love your own company, but there are still deep elements of your shadow that you need to become acquainted with to fully feel comfortable with yourself. And there's layers to this. It's like an onion, but I haven't even reached anywhere near the bottom and the root of that, but I'd like to, and that's where I'm heading. But so when I transitioned to living on my own, I completely found the love of just being ridiculously silly, having my own values and opinions, and being comfortable to share them and to accept them within myself. And that was a huge growth point where I detached from the mentality that were passed down from my parents. And that is not to say that they are the cause of that whatsoever, because as a child I took it in, which then became my choice. The minute you take something in, even if it's unconscious, in my opinion, I like to take accountability and responsibility and ownership of that, because I still took it in. And sometimes we take in something from our parents and we consciously and unconsciously validate it in the real world. Social interactions, whether they be relationships, work environments, family dynamics, pretty much anything that is external, another human interacting with you, or an animal, another life form and interacting with you, is a dance of almost mirroring who you are in all aspects, and it's beautiful. It's not only experiencing another individual in their entirety, which is when you're completely open, but the things that resonate, whether good, bad, ugly, great, funny, whatever, is because they resonate with you. It's a mirroring of you and the qualities that you love and also hate in someone else or are disgusted by them are qualities that are in you. And this is shadow work. The minute that you become conscious of the fact that when, let's say you're interacting with someone and you're like, wow, I love how charismatic they are, they're a sunshine. It's because that's an element that is in you. It's something that is inspirational that you feel inside of you somewhere. And the tip that I have for you guys is go down into your body and feel where it is located. Because wherever the emotion is located, you'll understand it more just by taking a few minutes to feel it. And I invite you to also feel your envy or jealousy if you do experience those emotions and ask yourself, where is it coming from? Envy and jealousy is a suppressed want inside of you. It's something that it's a denied need and a denied aspect of self. And so it manifests into a projection of jealousy onto someone else. But really, it's just a denying need inside of you. It's something that you're denying, an aspect of yourself that you're not allowing to surface. And sitting with that emotion, whether good or bad, can tell you how to unlock it, because you have all the answers inside of you. Your body is like, I heard this quote in therapy videos that was like, you have hundreds of doors inside of you, and the emotions are the key to unlock that door. And feeling into them and taking a moment to just be present and trying to see, oh, okay, it sits in my chest. Oh, it feels like a want, but masked. Like, try to unravel it like an onion. And then once you take off the first layer of, oh, I'm frustrated, it's, oh, but it's because my inner child is wounded because I wanted to experience life that way. I wanted to express myself that way, but my self-beliefs are stopping me from expressing myself in that way. I don't believe I'm worthy enough or smart enough or funny enough or pretty enough or good looking enough or interesting enough to express myself like that. And so I closed off this door inside of me, and now it's an outward projection of envy and frustration to other people. And you have to be careful, because if you want to be a kind person, you have to be self-aware enough to not project it out onto someone else. And it's a human thing. It's a very human thing but here's the thing. Saying that it's a human thing doesn't take away the accountability and responsibility that you need to have with yourself to not project it onto someone else. And another beautiful thing that I heard in therapy videos is take a breath. The minute you feel an intense emotion that you want to express outwardly to someone else, take a moment, because your perceptions might be completely wrong. The way that you handle the feeling that you got inside of you, then the meaning making that your brain is making, and then the conscious action of projecting it, all of those steps might be fundamentally wrong if you don't understand where it's coming from, which is, in a nutshell, a perception. Like, all of those steps is how you form a perception. Feeling and mentally, meaning making, and then expressing it. Those are perceptions and projections. And if you need to step away from whatever experience you're having with someone else, just to first take a moment to feel into your body, where is this coming from? And then come back to the situation, or don't come back to the situation. Social interactions are the number one thing highlighted in my life currently, because 2 years ago, I was in this uncomfortable growth process, and slowly but surely, in a time where I had done quite a lot of work and quite a lot of intense emotional experiences happened, I was thrown into a social environment, and now it's flourishing. The more I keep the promises to myself, the more I trust myself, love myself, keep my boundaries, stay strong within my beliefs, work on my perceptions and how I feel internally, the more I can show up around people and with people in a positive, beautiful way. And I'm just starting on this journey, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that there's ebbs and flows in life where you have a lot of social interactions and friends, and then you might go through a hermit phase or a hermit period where you close off and you do the healing necessary. But like I said, my journey is trying to find the middle and staying on the middle path and dealing with all of the challenges that make you want to run to the extremes, but staying in the middle. To compartmentalize that idea that I just spread and expressed, what I was really, stewing on yesterday was the concept of the minute that you have nothing from any social interaction anymore, no internal hit of, ooh, I like that, or ooh, that's interesting, or wow, I love that about that person, or oh, I really don't like that about that person, oh, that's not a really good trait that they have, I'm really repulsed by this energy. All of those things are cues and clues to things inside of yourself. And the minute that you make that discernment and change your idea on social interaction being like clues and cues to your own internal doorways, because everything that you react to helps you grow. But the minute that you have no more social cues and clues, and you have no internal hits of feelings, anything from social interaction, I think that that's like Buddhist level mastery, because that means that you've healed absolutely every single door inside of you, and I don't think that that's humanly possible. Maybe on a spiritual plane that is super possible, but in a human body, I think that unless you're a monk in the Himalayas, which I think still there would be some room for internal growth, and because if we're human, we're growing and evolving constantly. So even as a monk living in the Himalayan mountains, I think that you would still be able to grow through social interaction or getting mirrored back to you by someone else. But my journey with social interaction started with people pleasing, and I've been trying to really take that apart recently and become more authentic in every connection that I have. And it's still difficult because the automatic habit pattern when I'm stressed is to put up a people pleasing facade. So anytime I feel some kind of stress or emotion, instead of feeling it in my body and fully having that, because it's also a very big gift, and this is why people love authentic people. When you are able to show up to a connection authentically, you're giving them the gift of them being mirrored back to them accurately. If you are people pleasing and you're showing them what they want to see, you're deceiving them in their mirrored reflection of themselves. And that's, you're robbing them. You're robbing them and yourself of a true, authentic learning experience and connection. And you don't get to fully experience the other person because they close off, and they don't get to fully experience you because you close off. And that's a tragedy, honestly. And that's something that is in the back of my mind through every connection and interaction that I have. And it's definitely difficult. The concept, in a nutshell, is every experience that you have, either negative or positive, is really a key to your internal dialogue and things that need to be healed in your shadow. The minute that you close yourself off and protect yourself from being vulnerable, you rob yourself of experiencing life. And I had this teacher once that told me, in one of the most beautiful quotes, that life is experienced through feeling and it is understood through knowledge. You need both to have an experience, to have a full experience of life. You need both. COVID nearly did the same effect, to let go of the desires that I had, but the full depth came from post-surgery, dealing with all of the shadows that were coming up, dealing with all the emotional pains that were coming up from past relationships, from wants and desires. And so I let go of the desire even to travel, because I realized I'm so freaking grateful that I got to live and experience the life that I did. I learned so much in my lifetime, and I still know that I have a whole life ahead of me, potentially, and I'm really excited for it. I really hope I do. But if I die tomorrow, I'm okay with that, because I am really deeply thankful for the experience that I did have. And just that brings you peace in the unknown, and knowing that life will flow the way that it needs to flow, and there is no amount of stress control that you can take on it. So thank you for watching this video. My camera actually cut out about 4 times filming the end of this video, so I'm really sorry if it got choppy towards the end. I hope you have a beautiful day today, and I hope you express yourself creatively, because it is such a beautiful experience to be able to express. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye guys. And water your plants today. That's what I'm gonna go do.